How did I get here? How did I let this happen? I wouldn't let this happen, right? I mean, how did it get this bad? These are questions I've asked myself, and I know millions of other survivors have done the same thing. I never thought I would be treated the way that I was, and while I knew something was definitely wrong, it seemed like I just never realized how bad it was until it was way too late. In this video, that is exactly what I want to talk about. How the chaos and pain these people bring literally becomes just another Thursday in paradise. We have to start at the beginning. When you first start dealing with a toxic narcissist, there's of course some degree of love bombing, mystery, and allure about this person. You don't know the chaos that's hiding underneath. And the story that I always tell is narcs are kind of like a volcano. They're beautiful and they leave you in awe, and you're just like, wow. But at any moment, they can begin to erupt and just like spew molten crazy all over you. And then it's all downhill from there. So you get used to love bombing. Now, love bombing can still feel very forced and very fast, abrupt, and chaotic. Some people pick up on that and they don't like the way they feel when they're being love bombed. Others, like myself, buy love bombing hook, line, and sinker. Now, whether you're heavily love bombed or not, they keep their bad habits on lockdown initially, but they have other mind tricks that also do things like lull you into a false sense of safety or security, other tricks that make you feel like you've known this person much longer or you're much more connected to them. They push physical stuff as well and rush those kinds of things to try to force that emotional bond and connection that you're supposed to feel. I'm not going to say that love bombing isn't incredibly sinister. It is. It's the buildup before our very tragic breakdown. However, I feel like it's the slow transition from love bombing into devaluing that causes us to feel like the chaos that we're about to experience is very normal. For most, it begins with rude comments or passive-aggressive little things. And then when they see they've hurt your feelings, they begin to gaslight you. You get the fake apologies. You get told you're too sensitive. And you begin to think some issues and some troubles that are now popping up where they weren't before are your fault. And here we get to the heart of how the chaos becomes normal. For example, they're just joking when they hurt you and you need to toughen up. Well, again, gaslighting, making you think you're the issue. It makes you think it's you and that you're no fun, you're a stick in the mud, so you better be quiet. You better start to take the abuse with gentle good humor or no one's going to want to be around you. You begin to be trained and conditioned to take the chaos and pretend like it's bliss. The lies they tell you become greater, the stories get more out of control, there's even more gaslighting, and before you know it, their reality is your reality. And guess what? They don't think their reality is chaotic. They love the way things are. We know that. That's narkiness 101. They love the drama. They love all that bullshit. And they teach you that if you don't love it too, well, then they have no problem getting rid of you. But now you're far too trauma bonded. You're convinced they treat you just fine. And in some cases, you even get told, why are you being so dramatic? Shut up. You're treated just fine. I've heard it. I've seen it. I've experienced it. They want to tell you that just because you're not getting screamed at, or you're not getting called out of your name, or you're not getting hit, that you're treated exactly the way you should be. And you should be thankful for the good treatment you are getting. Now, the poor souls that are experiencing those things might be told something different. They get told a different story about how chaos needs to become normal. They get, well, you make me do this. Or I treat you this way only because I love you so much. And if I didn't love you, then I wouldn't do this. But you're making me do this because you don't understand how much I love you. More conditioning. That drama, pain, and chaos is just normal. That's what someone does when they love you. All the brainwashing and the conditioning causes you to slowly over time change from, holy shit, this is wrong, this is chaotic, dramatic, abusive, to, no, this is fine. I can do this. This is fine. I can just keep going. This is totally cool. Another really big piece of the puzzle is also our past. If you grow up in chaos, you can be used to chaos. You don't love it. You're not seeking it out. But sometimes chaos becomes familiar and chaos becomes comfortable. If you grow up in certain situations or have to deal with certain people, you can go into survival mode, fight or flight mode, and that can just sometimes be what happens. So while it is chaotic, you're just going through it and you go on autopilot and you just kind of soar through. As a survivor of narcissistic abuse, I know it's hard to find people to talk to about what you might be going through, thinking, and feeling. I offer a wide variety of services for survivors who need help and support. Breaking a trauma bond, going no contact, making that plan. You can get tips for healing from me. If you just need someone to listen to who's been through it, I'm always here for that too. Send an email to bookachatwithjess@gmail.com for more information and to book a session. If you want, you can visit my website and get the information there about having a phone chat with me, and you can book there as well. I'm here to help you through it. I've shared my story of not feeling well in my relationship physically. I didn't realize how much mental anguish I was in, believe it or not. And I went to my doctor, had a bunch of tests done, and I was told that, I really needed to chill out. I was under a lot of stress. Not the doctor's words, of course. They were much more professional, but I'm not a doctor. And I remember I went to my car and I sat there for like 20 minutes and I was like, what am I so worried about? What am I so upset about? I was clueless, survivor, clueless about where the stress was coming from. I remember sitting there so vividly and I was like, well, I am working a lot. No, in fact, I wasn't. After I caught this person cheating on me 8 ways to Sunday, I began taking every minute of vacation time, sick time, and was actually considering inventing religious holidays to take off of work, to leave early, to get away, to spend time with this person in hopes I could prevent them from continuing to cheat on me, which they just did anyway. But they told me that they would stop if I spent more time with them. So here I was running all over the place, chicken with no head, nearly losing my job, trying to satisfy a person who doesn't even want to be anyway, and wondering, well, what on earth could I be so stressed about? But that was what I was used to a certain degree. That's the whole point, is what can happen to us in childhood plagues us as an adult. My life revolved around trying to please my impossible to please, bipolar, narcissistic piece of shit father who would tell you that you might get a small amount of respect if you just give more and more and more and a little bit more and did better and acted better and was better. And why are you so stupid? And if you weren't, maybe, just maybe, I'd respect you. Never love. My dad never talked about love. It was you might get respect, quote unquote. You might if you were perfect. So when you're raised that way, that you suck if you're not perfect, well, no wonder here I was doing backflips for a small amount of decency, which I wasn't even getting anyway, which I think as a human being, we all deserve some to a degree. Fear also does a very, very good job at having us think that chaos is comfy. Fear keeps you in the relationship with this person way longer than you need to be. A fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear that maybe you're addicted to this person, to the chaos, to the fighting, can totally have people staying longer. Some people feel like they thrive on chaos and drama. People absolutely get hooked on fighting and everything else. It's fun and exciting. I don't personally get it, but I know that it happens to a lot of people. Now, there is a big difference, as we know, between drama and fun. Drama should never be labeled as exciting, but for some people it is. But that's totally doable as far as being able to work on that. Fear and addiction to something toxic like fighting can have us just in something really unhealthy. And we begin to think that this really chaotic mess is just kind of our little homeland, our little safe place almost. Some people don't even know how to react in certain situations where there isn't something toxic happening. You're literally like in survival mode for so long. Some people go into survival mode for so long, they end up becoming completely selfish pricks, and they don't even mean to be. So love bombing, conditioning, gaslighting, fear, and even our childhood issues cause us to see this chaos, to see this drama, to see this disrespect as familiarity and comfortability, if those are words. We begin to get comfy in those situations. Is there something different that maybe had you mistaking chaos for comfort? If there is, share with me in the comments. If anything like this was familiar to you, you can let me know that as well. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself.